So what we got here is I bought, if you're following along, I bought an AC control, climate control, off the parts car in the junkyard, and it had really nice buttons and everything, but and the plan was to take it apart and make sure it had good solder joints and everything, and then put it in my car. What I found was that several of these buttons were broken. Not broken, stuck. And so I tore into it, and what I found is not pretty. And it appears that this thing has been underwater. Now that parts car did not show any signs of water damage. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's possible. I definitely don't think it was a flooded car, like water sat in it. But it's possible when it wrecked, maybe it went in water and, maybe it went into a ditch or something like that. And this thing got wet. Like I said, I pulled the seat out of that car. The interior in that car was like immaculate. So I'm not sure how this thing got so messed up, but you can see the rust on it and just the dirtiness of it. It's like it was muddy water or something. So this one's kind of out. We're not going to use it. So what I did is the one that's in my car is actually out of my parts car because I was having issues with the one that was in the car. This is the one that was in my car, and what I've done is, of course, I disassembled it, but and I don't know if this one is a really nice one if it wasn't for the fact that it got wet. But this area right in here, because of these relays, I guess these relays get hot. Because if you look on this one, we've got some discoloration on the back side where those relays are. And that seems to wreak havoc on these solder joints. And I don't know, you can't really tell. This one's actually in pretty good shape, but like that one does not look that great. These are actually pretty decent. This one, it had a lot of bad solder joints, and also in here you've got some stress points where this board mounts. This board is mounted with just solder. Now it does press into, kind of fits like a puzzle in here, but the majority of it is held in by the solder joints. And these look pretty good, but these had some spots that looked like cracks. So what I did, you can see this got Sharpie all over it, and I redid every solder joint on this board. I did not do these. These looked okay where these pins mount, so I did not do that. But every other solder joint, I went through it and redid it. And so we've got good solder joints on this now, and redid all these as well. And so when I do one, because there's so many on here, after I solder it, I put a little mark by it. Now I did not do this one, or that one, because they looked fine. Nice big solder joints, and they looked okay. But all the other ones I did, and I think we've now got a good board. Now I'm going to take some deoxit and clean all the contacts here, and I'm going to see if I can get some in here to spray in this switch. I'll have to see if I can, in each of these switches, I'll have to see if I can do that. If not, I'll have to figure out something else. But these, they work nice. So we're going to use this one. This is the one that was originally in my car. It is not original to the car. It's got a junkyard marking on the housing of it, which is actually in the car. But I'm going to use the best of both which will probably be the housing that came off of this one. It's in a little better shape. You can see I kind of put everything in bags to keep up with it, but it looks a little bit better. Where is it? Yeah. There's a, this piece is a little nicer on this one. So definitely we use that. We could use this housing. And I'll show you how these come apart when I put it back together. Did not film it coming apart. The dial, I thought this was better than what's in my car, but it's not. What's in the car is better, so I was trying to leave that one together, but I'm gonna have to disassemble that one as well. And I think the issue with the one actually in the car is this dial, and I think it's got bad contacts right there, and they just need to be cleaned. It's a little temperamental on that, and I think we've got some bad solder joints here because it'll kind of start acting up, and I can switch to a different, switch over, switch back, and kind of mess with that, and it starts working again. So between that and moving the thumb wheel seems to fix it. But let's pull the rest of this thumb wheel and I can show you. You can see this one looks pretty worn, and this one was having issues, and so I think that's probably why. So we will either clean that up. I think it'll clean up, and clean up the wheel itself to make sure we've got. You can see it's got a little bit of corrosion on there. So that's probably why this one is not working. What this does is it turns on here, and that's what adjusts your temperature. And so if you're not making good contact here, that's going to throw it off, and it's going to kind of go crazy. But you can see that looks pretty dirty. So we can reuse. This one looks kind of corroded. So we'll probably try to either clean this one up, or we'll see what the one looks like in the car, because the thumb wheel definitely is better in the car. This one was the one original to my car, or when I had it, and you can see it's starting to peel off. So this one's definitely not that great. And the one I got from the junkyard looks pretty decent. It's got some fading in here where mine is still pretty bright white. So we're gonna put these together and we'll make one good one. Maybe I'll do a time lapse putting this thing back together, and I just need to get some deoxit, clean all this stuff up, and we'll get it all back together, get it back in the car. And hopefully it's starting to get real hot here, so hopefully that'll take care of some of the issues I'm having. It just starts getting where it's blowing warmer, and I just mess with the buttons and it starts blowing cold again. So I like for it to stay blowing cold because it's getting hot outside. All right, so I didn't video taking this thing apart, but we'll video it going back together. This is my original housing for this, and as you can see, it's gotten really hot right here from the bulbs, and this one is all melted out. Sorry, got a cough. And this is the one that came from the junkyard, and it's in good shape, even though the insides looked like it had gotten wet. The housing itself is fine, and the plastic for it is in good shape. So we're going to use that one. And you're going to take this, and it comes out this way, and it's just going to slip in here like that, and just kind of pushes in. So to get it out, you just pivot it out from this side, of course, because the switches are recessed in here. And after that, you've got a cover that goes on it. And that's this right here. I'm going to use this one. The original one from mine has Junkyard writing on it. It says 300D81. So we're going to use the one that it just looks nicer. And I don't remember. I think it went this way. I don't think it went that way. Looks like it doesn't matter either way. It does. So it's got a little indentation right here that goes right there. So it goes like this. Just like that. So we've got the main part of it together. Now we've just got to snap the extra pieces that go on it. So we're gonna have a housing for the this one's kind of melted, so we won't use that one. And I still haven't got the wheel off my car, but you can look at the other pieces. This one's looking pretty good. That one's no good. That looks good. That's got a bulb stuck in it. That's no good. We might wait and do that piece when we get the one out of the car. But we've got another set of switches to put in. That's these right here. And I did not spray those with Deoxit. So let me grab that real quick and I'll spray these. And the solder joints here look good. We are going to use this switch. And we've got that sprayed, and I just lost power. So, I mean, it doesn't keep us from videoing, we just lost our overhead lights. Still got a battery in the camera. But yeah, sprayed the switch with Deoxit. It should be in good shape. We need to find a good housing for it. Let's see. That looks good. I'm making sure all these little tabs are in good shape. So this one looks good. And let's see. That one's got a little bit of melting right there. And that one had worse. So we'll go with this one. Looks like the best I've got. So the way you get these apart is you just pull these tabs, release those tabs with a small screwdriver and just push out and they come undone. There's 3 of them on this one. And once that's together, you can see you've got these. I did not spray those Deoxit. Let me spray those real quick. Hold that for a second. Go. That should clean that up well. So what you've got is these. You've got one side has the fan switch, and then the other side has the temperature control. So over here, you see this little thing here? That is what releases this. You've got that, and this. And both of those snap into this housing. And that's what you have to release to get this out. So to get it back on, just line this back up to there. Just like that. And then of course line those up. And it's going to just slide on. So if you're looking at this, deoxit on this thing. I did spray all these with deoxit. So you squeeze those two together, and then you look down in here is that other one I pointed out. You just pull it away. and then it just slides off. And the same way for this side, you've got that holds it, and then that holds it. And it's the same principle. Goes on like that, goes in there, and then it hooks on here. So, but we got to go get this one off the parts car, or off the car, not the parts car, my car, because it's got the better one. Now, you do have, and I forgot to slide these on. So we're going to pull this back off and slide these on. They slip in here. So we'll have to disassemble it and put that back on. So I guess you can see partly how to disassemble it. Do not have a... I'm just going to push on this one a little bit. That one is in, so we need to come over here and push this away. And it's off. And then on this side, and pivot it out, and we've got lights again. We will take these two, let's see which one's which. That's right. And the other side. And then we'll slide it back together. Everything powering back on. There we go. That looks better. Got that on. We just have this side. But what we can go ahead and do, put this on. But I think before we do that, let's go to my car and we'll get the one out that we're going to put in.